the challenge is for you to find a household item that is circular, to measure its diameter, and then you're going to tell me its radius, its diameter, what its circumference is, and what the area is. So, probably the easiest is using some sort of ruler. Okay, you can also find any household item. If you have a wine barrel in your backyard or something, you want to measure that, you can use a tape measure to measure that. If you don't have anything to measure, you can try and use something like a piece of paper. Okay, piece of paper is something we know the dimensions of. So this piece of paper is 8.5 by 11. So I can see here, I can put it on this piece of paper and see. I'll flip it upside down so I can see very clearly. Wow, what do you know? This thing is pretty much, the diameter is 8.5. Let's try that with our ruler. The way you would measure is you are finding the greatest distance. You want to find the center, but if you're having trouble finding the center, you're just looking for the greatest distance. So if you're like, say, down here, start down here, and you come up and find wherever the greatest distance seems to be. All right? Because it's always going to be the two farthest points from the ends of the circle is always going to run right through the center. And so if I look at this, since this is clear, I can see that it's pretty darn close to 8.5. Looks like, yeah, right around there. So it's almost 8.5. So I'm going to use 8.5 for this one. Then what I'll do is I'll do the calculations, and you can see those calculations if you want. I'll do one right now, but you're going to use your own numbers. So let me do my calculations. So if my diameter, ooh, that doesn't look good. The diameter is 8.5, or I'm going to use 0.5 because I prefer that. All right. My radius, and you're going to put this in your in the quiz form. Okay. My radius is going to be half of that. So 4, I can either just divide it by 2, or I can do it in my head because I know that 4.25 is half of 8.25 or 8.5. All right. I should have sharpened this pencil. Then I want you to get the circumference. Well, the circumference is 2 pi r. All right. And I want you guys to use 3.14 for pi. Okay. So my circumference is going to be 2 times 3.14 times the radius, 4.25. Okay? And then my area is pi r squared. It's my table, I think, that's causing the problem. So if my area is pi r squared, it's going to be 3.14 times 4.25 times 4.25. And you're welcome to use a calculator, or you can do it longhand. And then you're going to enter in those in there. And then tell me what your the object you actually measured is. Or if you want, you can upload a picture of your object as well. That's up to you. But my little plate here was 8.5, and then I can from there figure out that. So do your own object and put it in the quiz for the assignment.